Play Gone by Jack Parker.
Here's Gone by Jack Parker on Amazon Music.
Said that you don't love me anymore. Well, I guess I'll hit the road. No, I'm leaving. The signs, they were all right there, right in front of my nose. But I was too blind to see them. So I guess it's time to go. No, I'm leaving. Wonder what I did or said to make you change your mind. I can't believe it. I thought love was strong, but I guess that I was wrong. I'll hit the road. No, I'm leaving. Oh, guess it's time right out of town and go. 'Cause this time when I leave, I ain't sure where I'm going. All I know this time I'm gone for good. One last thing to say before I leave is that I wish you well. This is far from easy. I know that somewhere down the line, true love you will find. I know there'll be no more grieving. So I guess I better go. You know I'm leaving. Gotta pull myself together and ride out of town. I gotta pack up this guitar and go. 'Cause this time I leave, I ain't sure where I'm going. All I know this time I'm gone for good.
Alright.
I don't know where I'm going. I barely know just where the hell I've been. Against the wind and stormy weather, I ain't never coming back again. Gotta pull myself together and ride out of town. I gotta pack up this guitar and go. 'Cause this time I leave, I ain't sure where I'm going. All I know this time I'm gone for good. Gone for good. This time I'm gone for good.
I see 3 people.
Gone
And 4.
for good. This time I'm gone for good.
5 people. You're finding us, guys. Hello, Nicole. I see you. Yeah. All right. I'm not going to start right away, guys. Don't worry. I'm waiting for everybody to catch up. Ugh. Can you all see me? Hello. I see 7 people. I'm not going to start painting right at 6 o'clock on the dot. I just thought I'd, this is new. not everybody knows how to do this. So I want to make sure that you are all here with me and you got a chance to look at the painting that we're going to be making tonight together. So the intro music that was playing when we first started, I have permission. I don't own the rights to it, but the music that was playing was by local musician Jack Parker, who is also going to be doing a live stream tonight after I'm done at 8 o'clock from the Tracyton Public House. So that's a free show tonight after I'm done painting at 8 o'clock. So local artists are banding together and they are providing free entertainment for our community. Hi Angela. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Mom. So local musicians and artists are banding together because we really feel like it's important to still provide you entertainment and something to do and something to uplift your spirits during this time where we may not be able to get out like we normally do. And, you know, what better way to distract our minds than to do something creative and colorful and to create something that gives us peace, right? So I see 8 of you guys joining in. So what I'm going to do while we're waiting for everybody to catch up and find me on here. Oh, hi, Claire. Happy birthday, Claire. My niece and my stepdad's birthday is today. So happy birthday to you guys out there from Danielle Rimbert Illustration. So I'm just going to go over a supply list really quick with you guys for those of you that are just setting up. Okay, and I'm going to flip things around just to make sure that everybody has what they need in a second. So first things first, everybody should have a pencil, okay, pencil, and then 1 paintbrush. So I have a little flat brush here. If your brush is round, that's okay. I just like this because we can use it 2 different ways. We can use it the wide way when we're painting like this, or we can turn it sideways and we can do skinny brush strokes like that. Okay, I have a couple of scraps of paper here too. So just some little paper. So we have a pencil, 1 paintbrush, and a couple of scraps of paper. And the scraps of paper are just for if you guys want to practice the brush strokes on something besides the canvas. If you're nervous about first putting it there, practice on paper first. Okay. I went ahead and put my paint into little cups. If you had a little plate or whatever, that works. The only things that you need right off the bat to complete this painting are, I have some white paint, okay, and I'm using acrylic paint. I have some yellow acrylic paint, okay, and then pink or red, okay, and then blue, okay. Those are the main colors that you need. All right, so if you have those colors, you can do this painting. But if you want to throw in extra colors, I also have orange, and I have purple, and I have like a teal, like cool blue color, okay? So the original painting I created is super colorful, and I want you guys to be able to play with that. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a pencil outline. I'm going to flip the camera around so you guys don't have to stare at my face the whole time. You'll just hear my voice. No worries, Carly. I'm waiting for you. How many am I waiting for? Right on, Veronica. Are you going to paint too? Yay, Ronnie. We can practice and support each other from far away. I love this. So I was talking to someone today about the situation that's happening right now and how it's really hard because we're not able to go about our life like we normally would. But the benefit and the positive side of this is that when I do a class, I can work intimately with a small group of maybe, 20 or 30 people at the most to make sure that everybody has my equal attention. But here and in this space, I can reach hundreds of people. And not everybody has to, not everybody can afford to go out to paint classes. And right here, this is a free space. It's a safe space. You're in the comfort of your own home, and we can reach lots and lots of people. Like I said, my boyfriend did a live stream the other night, and he was reaching people from Mexico and Qatar. And so that's crazy that it's not just, secluded to Kitsap County. So I'm really excited for you guys to be here with me. Just make sure that you also have, some paper towels or a rag handy so you can clean off your brush, a water bowl, and then I also got some masking tape. You can use Scotch tape if that's all you have, and if you don't have any tape, that's fine. You can use you know, a piece of paper or something to make sure that you're, you know, you get your straight line later on. So I'm going to turn around the camera here so that you guys can look at the painting again. Hi guys, I'll still be able to see comments. I'm just going to flip it around. All right, so everybody can see the painting. I have about 16 people joining me here. I just want to make sure that everybody is able to join along. Here we go. Wave if you're painting. Make a comment. What's your favorite part of the painting? Thanks for waiting. Okay, so you don't have to have a canvas if you're painting along with me, guys. You only have to have a piece of paper to be able to follow the steps, okay? So if you have a piece of paper, that'll work just fine. I've got a fancy easel and all that stuff, but no big deal. All right, so I'm taking away the painting. So do you guys see what's gonna happen here? Hi, Bree. Thanks for joining us. Do you have all your supplies ready? Oh, thank you, Claire. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about a few things before we start painting, and then we're going to get busy, okay? So the first thing I tell my students when they come to my class is to not only look at the colors and the subject matter, but look at the direction of the brush strokes, okay? So you'll notice on the wave, all these brush strokes are curved, and then the water in the background here, the brush strokes are straight, and then on the mountains, they're slanted. Oh, right on, Bree. I got water. I think it's probably, even though I'm in the comfort of my own home, it's probably better that I'm drinking water. But you guys, you know, feel free to drink wine or whatever, okay? So one of the other sayings that I tell people when they come to my class is your job as an artist is to create an illusion, okay? And so in order to create that illusion, you use different colors and different shapes and directional brush stroke to create dimension, okay? So in order to make our viewer's eye curve around with the wave, we have to make Angry Orchard ready, right on. We have to make our brush strokes curve to make our viewer's eyes wander in that direction. And then we want to make the sky a different texture so that they're able to differentiate between this is what's in front and this is what's behind, and then contrast of color, okay? So are you guys ready to go? All right, so I'm going to remove the painting. I'll bring it back for an example in a minute, okay? So here is my canvas, okay? So if you have a piece of tape, for those of you guys that got paint kits from me, you may already have a piece of tape on there and you wondered what that was for. Well, now you know, okay? So this is to create our horizon. So everything that's above the tape here is going to be mountains and sky. And then our wave is going to go along this side. All right, is the picture nice and clear? Am I wobbling yet? Can you guys see everything okay? It's a little wobbly. I'm trying to make it stand still. Sorry, guys. All right, so what we're gonna do is you wanna take your pencil, okay? Get your pencil ready, and yes, I'm gonna make you guys do some drawing, okay? Don't worry about the drawing, because what's gonna happen when you draw is afterwards you're gonna paint over it. So it doesn't matter if you're, oh, is it auto-focusing? Just want to make sure here. Dun, 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 dun. Don't worry, when I get painting, you guys will be able to see. Okay, so we want to make sure that we have just a very basic outline, but when you guys start painting, here, I'm going to take this off here. See if that makes a difference. All right. All right, is that better? All right, so you're going to take your pencil and you're going to start at the corner of the tape here, and you're going to create like a diagonal J that's going to be the curve of your wave, okay? So I'm going to go up like this. It's going to look like a candy cane. You guys see that? So I want to make sure I leave enough space at the top so later on when we create our little splash at the top of the wave, that's still there, okay? And then we have that dimension, and then I'm just going to trace a little line along the top of the tape, okay? Doesn't have to be perfect. So the beauty of this, guys, is that we are going to paint over it, so don't worry about any perfect lines, okay? So the next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to create a very basic mountain range. So what I like to tell people is when you're painting and drawing, you just want to focus on having very basic shapes. Break things down into basic shapes and then build on that. So if we're painting mountains, we want to think triangle, but with lumpy, bumpy edges. So if you're really bad at drawing triangles, I always tell people that drawing mountains is perfect for you. So, you know, I can start on this side. I'm going to do little tiny mountains, but look, I'm just doing little bumpy. So there's like a triangle. It's like a curvy heartbeat, okay? And these don't have to be super detailed or dramatic. We just want to give the contrast of the lines, okay? So just by making them bumpy, all right, we can tell that they're mountains. And then if we think that they don't have enough interest or texture later, we can absolutely, absolutely paint over that, okay? So we put our tape. Oh, where did we put the tape? Sorry, guys. For those of you guys that may have just joined us, when I put the tape on here, I put it about in the middle of the canvas. So that way we have lots of water down below and lots of sky up above. We're just doing tiny little mountains. They're only, you know, like 1 inch or so tall, maybe 2 inches tops. Okay, and then I drew a little crooked candy cane off to the side for my wave there. Okay? So are we all on board? Are we all on the same page? Can I get a thumbs up from everybody? We've got about 18 viewers. I'm really happy to see you guys all. Thanks for joining me. Okay. So the next thing is look at all these rainbow colors that we have. So I have white, I have yellow, I have orange, I have pink, I have purple, light blue, dark blue, and I have water, okay? So the very magical thing about all these colors is they're bright and beautiful, but the problem is that if you mix certain colors together in the wrong order, you don't get beautiful and bright colors. So white and yellow, those are safe together. Yellow and orange, those are safe together. Orange and pink, those are safe together. Because if you mix orange and pink, you just get more orange, just darker. Pink and purple, those are safe together. Purple and blue, I mean, these two might be a little iffy, but usually, like if you mix purple with any shade of blue, you should just get a darker purple, okay? What colors are not safe to mix together? So I will tell you. So the hint that I tell people is cool and hot usually don't mix together. So if they're cool colors, you know, and you mix, like if I mix blue with yellow, yeah, you would get a pretty color, but would it be a sky color? Probably not. It would be green, okay? If I mixed orange and blue together, I would get the color brown, okay? So we don't want to mix colors in this order. So that's why I kind of listed the colors in this order. We go from lightest warm, okay, to darkest warm, and then back to cool colors, okay? So we're going to do that same order in the sky. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your little flat brush that you have, and if you have a round brush, that's okay too. But we're going to use what's called a hatching brush stroke, okay? So see how I'm just kind of sweeping the canvas with my brush? Okay, you'll notice I didn't say to get your brush wet or to get your canvas wet. That's because the first layer of paint, we want to create a barrier on the surface here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my brush and I'm just going to put a little bit of yellow paint. I don't need a ton because I can always go back and get more, okay? So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to start on the edge here and I can kind of outline the edge of my mountain, okay? And I can wipe off my brush very gently in just little short brush strokes, okay? I can outline the edge. So acrylic paint dries really quickly. And I like to work in small areas because it will blend really well while the paint is still wet. So you notice I'm just doing a nice little sweeping and I'm not going too far above the mountains yet, okay? So every time I go and get paint, I just get a tiny little bit. And if I get a big blob, you can either wipe it off on your plate or wipe it off on the edge of the cup or whatever you have with you, okay? Remember, you can always add more paint, but if you have big gobs of paint, then it's kind of hard to take it away. I also want to show you guys, look, if I accidentally went, whoops, I painted on my mountain. I can still see my pencil line, so that's not a problem. So don't worry about that, because when acrylic paint is dry, no problem, you can just paint over it. No one will even know, okay? So you'll notice I'm just using my light hatching, sweeping brush strokes, okay? And I'm going above the mountains, and I'm only going about an inch or so above here. Can I get a thumbs up, guys? Am I going too fast for you, or are we nice and clear? Okay, so the other thing is we don't need to have a perfect straight line, okay? It can be kind of textured along the top. And I'm just gonna get in really close here so you guys can see. I have really good coverage because the more I go over the paint with my brush, the more blended the paint will be and the more it will push the paint into the canvas. If you have some like little speckles and you can still see the texture of the canvas a lot, that means you probably either need more pressure or to add just a little bit more paint. You can also add just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of water to your brush, and that will keep the paint wet and you can continue to blend. I discourage using too much water though, because it will make the first barrier of paint kind of thin, and we want this layer to be a good skin on the surface of the canvas, and we want to be able to paint stuff over it. Right on, guys. Okay, so I'm just making a nice little blend right above there. And I don't go too far because I still have a lot of sky left, and I can always go back and add more to that later. So if this yellow is way too bright and you're like, bam, man, that's way too crazy, and you want to subdue it a little bit, you can always just go in and add a little bit of white over the top, okay? And so, see here, I can soften the bottom edge just by adding a little tiny bit of white. I call white paint like the magic eraser of the paints. It fixes everything. Okay, so what color are we going to use next? What was on our rainbow scale? So if we wanted to, I'm going to use orange, but if you didn't have orange and you just had red or pink, you can mix a little bit of white with your red to make pink, okay? Or you can mix a little bit of red with your yellow to make orange, okay? So then I'm going to just take a tiny, tiny bit of either pink or orange, and I'm going to go right above. I'm not starting on the yellow, I'm starting a little bit above it, and I'm still using that hatching brush stroke like this, okay? So you notice it's not super, super strong because I'm not using a ton of paint. You know, you want to be able to build up the colors. Okay, so I'm just going right above it, and I'm using that sweeping motion, and I'm using orange right above that, okay? And I'm going all the way across. So the problem that people may run into is when you're adding this second color up here, either pink or orange, you may get this weird chunky line between the two colors, right? Can everybody see that? So what do we do to get rid of that color? So acrylic paint blends best when it's wet, okay? And the orange is obviously wet because I'm applying it right now, but the yellow may have dried. So what I can do, what color is the orange? So you can mix red and yellow together, or red and pink and yellow together to make orange. And I would mix that first on your little plate, if you have a plate, before you put it on the canvas, so you know what you're using. Okay, so the secret here is if you're blending colors, you know, up the canvas, you can go back to the previous color. So if the orange is still wet and I take a little bit of yellow back on my brush and I go between those two colors, okay, and kind of push firmly and then use that brush technique, I'm just going to get a neutral in-between shade between those two colors, okay? So if I went back to yellow, see, because if I have yellow already here, and then I put yellow on top of the orange, because they're complementary colors, then it's going to start to blend those colors together. Okay, you guys see what I did there? Is the picture clear enough for you guys? Are you able to see what I have going on here? All right. Hold on one second here. All right. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to wait for everybody to catch up. Okay. Okay, so what color do we think is next? Okay, so you'll notice I didn't go giant and go all the way to the top because I want to make sure that all my colors stretch to the top here. Okay, so I did yellow, I did orange, okay, and then my next color that I would want to use is pink, and I'll show you why. So first I want to clean off my brush so that I don't have any orange left on the brush. And the reason for that being is, remember what I said about cool colors and warm colors? If I mix orange with purple, I'm probably going to get like a brown color, okay? So I'm going to take a little bit of pink on my brush, okay? And then again, I'm not going to start on the orange. I'm just going to start a little bit above it, okay? And these sections do not have to all be perfectly even either, guys. Like if you like pink more, do a lot more pink. If you like orange more, do a lot more orange, okay? If you put too much paint on the canvas and you feel like it's starting to go a little crazy, don't continue to blend it all over and up. Just clean and wipe off your brush and then use what you have so that you don't have to, spread it everywhere on your canvas here. So again, it's okay if the pink touches the orange. Oh yeah, don't dip brush in your drink. That's a good note, Ronnie. That happens to a lot of people. So the other thing is the bonus of doing it in this order is what happens if I mix pink with orange. Do you guys remember? So if the pink accidentally mixes with the orange, it's just going to make orange, okay? All right, and if you put water on your brush and then you put too much water, here, I'm going to stop for a second and clean off my brush better. If you have too much moisture, it's not going to cover as well on the canvas, okay? So again, as that paint starts to absorb, you can start to go back in and add more layers. So look, white, orange, yellow, and pink are all complementary colors. So can I go back in and do a second layer of yellow and then bring it up in here? I totally can. You don't want to cover up all the pink. Okay. All right. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we have yellow, orange, and pink, and you'll notice I also have the little curve of the J right there. That's okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is when I'm done with the pink, I'm going to stop for a second, and I'm going to go back to my pencil because I just want to create an area to not paint in, okay? So I'm going to create just some little lumpy curves like this. So what I did is I took my pencil and I just created some little bumps that start at the end of the candy cane and go up and around all the way to the edge. And don't worry if those look all awesome or not awesome because, like I said, we're going to paint over it later, but this will serve as a good, perspective for us to not paint in that area when we get to it, okay? So we drew our candy cane. You can draw the little lumps of the waves. We have our tape here. We did our little mountains, okay? And then we have yellow, orange, pink in our sky so far, okay? Let's see. All right. Are we all following along okay? Okay, so what color can we go to next? So if you only had blue, if you mix blue with pink or you mix blue with red, you will get purple, okay? So I want to use purple after I use this pink, okay? And so, like I said, if you don't have purple, you can mix purple in there, okay? See what happens if I mix? So if I go back to my pink and then I put it in there with some of the purple. And again, if you like to have darker colors, you can totally intensify it. I am just playing here, okay? And so again, and if it's too dark, what do we do, guys? Do you remember what we do if it's too dark? So if that purple is too crazy and I want to soften it, go back to our magic white paint. Okay, and then soften it up. So the other reason why I use this hatching brush stroke, where we're using kind of textured brush strokes instead of just like perfect little lines, is that for beginners, I promise you guys, it's so much easier to create consistency if all your brush strokes are kind of rough. I'm gonna go back and add a little bit more pink, I think. Dun, dun, dun. I want you guys to be able to play too. Remember, this is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to be having a good time, and we'll be able to, like, you know, adjust everything as we go. Okay, and you don't have to do it fast. You can always go back. So see, I can still go back and I can add a second layer if I want to. See, so I did a nice thin layer, but I can go back and I can create a stronger layer if I want to. Okay, so we have yellow, orange, pink, purple. What's next, guys? Blue, 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 blue. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to start at the top. Okay, and then I'm going to slowly bring it down. And the reason why I'm starting at the top is because that's where it's going to be, you're going to have the most paint on your brush at that point, so it's going to be the darkest. And then as you're bringing it down, you're going to have less paint, and it's going to be a little bit lighter. And it's okay if the blue touches the purple, because why? Because blue and purple are complementary colors, okay? So you can also throw in a little bit of white in there if you want to soften that a little bit. So how much is a little? I mean a little, just barely touch your brush, okay? So I want to start with the blue at the top of the canvas and then gently work my way down. And then look, if I accidentally went, oh no, and painted over my wave, don't freak out. It's okay, because we're going to paint over that stuff, okay? I like to freak people out as we go. Okay, so getting in there kind of clear. So again, nice small layers. If you need to build up the layers as you go, then do that. So you have to excuse me, guys. I'm still pretty new to this live feed video thing. I'm trying to figure it out. We're all trying to be adjustable here and flexible. If you feel like there's a way that I can definitely do things better, just let me know and I will work on that for you guys, because I want it to be a good experience for everybody, not just me. Okay. Okay, and you also want to take those colors down here. So look, I have blue across the top here. If your wave comes down a little bit, you can put a little bit of purple below the blue. So that it matches up. Thanks, Jack. So if you guys tuned in right at the beginning of the video when I did not have my face but just music playing, that was Jack Parker Music, and he is doing a live video from the Tracyton Public House tonight at 8 o'clock. You can tune into that after your paint class if you need to mellow out from having like your anxiety at full capacity from painting with me. Okay. All right, so we should have some rainbow sky happening right now. And again, if you need to make any adjustments, just clean your brush off really thoroughly. So this is how I clean off my brush. I take it and I take out all my aggression on the water bowl and stab away, okay? See, gets it nice and clean, and then you can wipe it off on a rag or a paper towel. Okay, make sure it's nice and dry, and then you can go back to your canvas and, you know, you can continue to add colors, okay? So does everybody have a background yet? Let me know. How are we doing? Am I going too fast? I'm right on track. It's really weird sometimes painting for people because, you know, when you start out as an artist, it's really usually like a very private thing that you just do by yourself. And so, you know, I've always been a pretty outgoing person though, so it kind of evolved into this public thing, which, you know, I think is fun. It's a good way to engage with people, to get people to understand what you're doing, and, you know, for them to have a better understanding so that they, you know, can increase their skills as they go. All right. So I'm going on an autopilot. I hope you guys are tuning in. Is everybody caught up? Give me a thumbs up if you are done with your background. Just smoothing everything out here. So I hope that you guys can post your pictures after you're done too, to actually prove that you watch this when you're all done. Because I'd love for people to see what we're able to accomplish even over the internet here. Almost done. Bree, you're a pretty speedy painter though. Let's see if everybody can catch up to you. How you doing, Nicole? Are you still with me? Are you painting? I bet yours looks amazing. So you have to remember too, guys, if things look all crazy when you're painting right at the beginning, it's because it's the beginning. So don't give up hope on your painting, because you can't judge the cookies till you baked them and they're out of the oven. All right, so are we running into any complications, or are paintings so beautiful we can't even stand it yet, or what? Right on. All right, so my painting looks all crazy, but I have a nice warm sky, right? Okay. Okay, so here we are. You're gonna see a little reflection. I've got a beautiful sunset happening outside of my window out of this painting, so I'm sorry for the glare. I hope you guys can see okay. All right. Deb, I'm sure you are doing just great. I'm sure it's beautiful. So we just want to go from warm to cool. So here's the thing, guys. If you accidentally made a boo-boo and you blended your colors too soon, like, or the wrong combination while they were wet, and you have like a brown sky, your instinct is to do what, right? Here, I'm going to flip it around. What's your instinct to do when you make a boo-boo? Your instinct is to add a whole bunch more paint to cover it up, right? Okay, try and resist that urge. Resist. Okay, so what I try and tell people is that acrylic paint dries really quickly, and that if you just let it dry for a second, like thin it out, smooth it out, let it dry, then you'll be able to paint whatever you want over the top. Okay, if you keep adding paint to it while it's still wet, it's just going to continue to blend and turn gray or brown or some crazy color. Okay, so we've completed our first step. So we did a pencil outline, right? So we drew the outline, the basic outline of our wave. We have our little mountains on there, and we created a rainbow background, okay? And then we used the rainbow background starting from the top of the mountains, going yellow, pink, orange, purple, and blue. And so the entire background behind your mountains and your waves should be filled in, okay? And everything else should be white. So it should look like that, okay? So from, and look at all this crazy lines here. That's okay though, because you guys remember what I said? Doesn't matter if it's perfect here, because we're going to add another layer over the top. Are we ready for the next step? Everybody give me a thumbs up if we're ready for the next step. Everybody's deep in concentration here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, your yellow should be dry, hopefully, by this time, okay? And if your yellow is dry, you're going to clean off your brush, okay? And then you're going to paint your mountains dark blue, okay? So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to start painting my mountains blue. Okay, and it's okay if you accidentally paint on the tape because we're going to take the tape off later, see? So if you need to get a crisp edge on your mountains, what I like to do is I like to, first of all, don't have a giant blob of paint on your brush. Wipe your brush off a little bit. I always tell people, wipe your brush off like a peanut butter knife. So you just go like this on both sides. And then you're able to just firmly push your brush against the canvas. And then if you're not good at making smooth brush strokes, at least use the direction of your brush strokes to your advantage. So that means the mountains are slanted. So don't paint your mountains up and down. At least paint them going at an angle, like sideways, okay? So that way, if your brush strokes are all wonky, at least it starts to look like Rocky Mountains going down at a slant, okay? So we're just gonna paint the mountains, and you don't have to use a ton of paint. Again, just use a little tiny bit of paint at first, and the more you run your brush over the paint while it's wet, the more it will blend out on the surface, okay? And so look, I just did a little oops like this, watch. So how do I fix that? No problem, I just make my mountain a little bit taller, okay? See, it's like it never happened, no problem, okay? And if you think that you added too many mountain peaks to your painting, just, you know, cut one out, paint, turn it into a big triangle. But what we don't want to do is you don't want your mountains to grow and grow and grow and grow and get too tall so that you cover up all the hard work that you did for the background. Okay. All right. All right. So what I'm going to do is after I paint my mountains, so if the mountains are having a hard time drying too, just wipe off your brush really good and then run a dry brush over the paint to kind of help spread it out and thin it out. And again, the more you run your brush over the paint while it's wet or fresh, the more it's going to blend out, okay? And then when you're done painting your mountains, you're going to remove that tape. Eventually. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, and if it accidentally bled a little bit underneath, don't worry about that because, again, we're going to paint over it. All right. All right, so you should have skies, and then we have our wave here and our mountains. And if you have a little bit of blue left on your brush, I'm just going to tell you to take that candy cane and then just bring it down a little bit further, just so it cuts in front of the mountains, okay? So we want to create two parts to this wave. We want to create the part of the wave that's creating action, and then we want to create a space that is calmer and also further away, okay? So when you're trying to create distance or perspective in a painting, you have to remember two things. Things that are closer to you are bigger, and things that are further away are smaller, okay? So we're going to say that the bottom of the canvas is the closest spot to you, and then the bottom of the mountains is the furthest point away. So what that means is that, can everybody hear me okay too? I just want to double check. Am I muffled? Give me a thumbs up if I'm okay. So the bottom of the canvas is the closest part to you, and the bottom of the mountains is the furthest point away, or what we call the vanishing point, the horizon, okay? And so that means that any of the water brush strokes that we do back in this area are going to be small, and then any ones that we do here are going to be big, and then the further up the canvas we go, they're going to get a little bit smaller, okay? So I'm just going to show you where we're at. So here is where we're at on our painting here. Here is the original again. You guys see that? Cool. So we first painted our mountains a solid blue, and now we're going to add a little bit of a highlight to them now that they are a little bit dry, okay? So we want the mountains to be dry because remember what I said, acrylic paint blends when it's wet. So if these are a little bit dry, then the paint will lay on top of it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a tiny, tiny bit. Oh, there's no sound at all? Hold on a second. Can everybody else hear me? Denise says she can't hear me. Make sure your volume is turned up, guys. Carrie, can you hear me? Nicole, can you hear me? Anna, can you hear me? All right, we're going to take our brush and we're going to go along the side here. Okay, so rather than, okay, good, Nicole. Weird. Okay, so I'm going to take just a tiny, tiny bit of white paint on my brush. And then instead of using the wide part of the brush, I'm going to turn my brush sideways and I'm going to use the skinny edge, okay? And so I'm just going to trace one side of the mountain with white paint. And look what happens if I, instead of stopping at that little corner, I take it across, okay? So then it looks like this mountain is in front of this mountain. I can then take my brush and kind of scrub it back and forth. It doesn't have to be a perfect line. We actually want it to be kind of messy so that we have a little bit of a slope there, okay? So when I outline the mountain, I only want to do it on one side. That way I'm able to give the illusion of light, okay? So see, one here, and then see how these are all little perfect straight lines? I can then kind of scrub in the middle or in another little part in the center here just to break it up and add dimension. But see how just by changing the direction of the brush stroke, I'm leading my viewer's eye off to the side instead of straight up and down. And then if you went too crazy on the white, here's the bonus of using dark and light colors. So if I thought, oh, that really looks ugly and I want to fix that, then I wait for that to dry a little bit and then I just go over it with blue paint and it's gone, okay? Same thing with this. If I decide I want to break up little sections on the mountain or there's too much white, I can come back in with blue and a little edges on the side there and I can create a little texture, okay? This is not realism. Remember, guys, we're just doing surreal painting here, and the idea is just to create the illusion of depth and distance. And then the more you have like different shades of white, so some areas are a little bit brighter than others. See how I'm using the sideways part of my brush. So not the wide part like this. I'm turning it sideways and using the skinny edge. Okay, mountains. Ta-da! Cool. How many of you guys have highlighted mountains? I'm hoping all of you. Yay. Okay. All right. I got one thumbs up. Is everybody done with their mountains yet? Give me a thumbs up if you're done with your mountains. Okay. So what I'm going to do next, while everybody's catching up. Okay, Farrell's done. Carly's done. Yay. You're waiting for the dark to dry. Okay, so while you're waiting for the dark to dry, I'm going to give you another job. You're going to take blue, and you're going to take the skinny edge of your brush, not the wide part, and you're just going to make tiny little brush strokes like this, just in this area right here. Okay, so I'm just going to take blue, and I'm just taking tiny little. Do not, I repeat, do not create a pattern and make these perfectly spaced out, okay? But make sure that you leave just tiny little gaps, okay? So I'm going to fill in this whole area while I wait for my mountains to dry with tiny little sideways brush strokes just in this area, okay? All right. So obviously the more close they are, the better, because you're going to fill this in with color later, but we just want to create little tiny far away waves, okay? Little tiny faraway waves. So if you're watching now, I really appreciate this. If you know somebody that would appreciate this video and wants to watch later, please share it with your friends and tell them to hashtag replay or hashtag Rimbert illustration, or the new hashtag is spread art, not germs, or Kitsap local artists or Kitsap working artists, any of those. So, you know, we can keep spreading art all over the place. Okay. All right, so we should have rainbow sky. We should have mountains, hopefully with highlights after your mountains are dry. Okay, and then we should have used the skinny part of our brush to create little dashes in this area up here. Okay, so remember I said that area is far away. That area is far away, and then this area is bigger. So what we're going to do is this line comes down. Okay, and we're going to kind of break this up a little bit so it's not just a perfect straight line. So I just want to break up the edge of that a little bit. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is these lines are flat, and I want to make them gradually get bigger and then also gradually turn sideways, okay, or kind of at a curve to the edge. So we're going to do the same thing with the blue in this area, except for we're going to use bigger brush strokes, and these brush strokes are going to be slightly angled. So think of it like a clock. So if this is 4 o'clock, it's going to gradually go to 3 o'clock and, you know, go up that way. Yeah, it's good. Oh, look, Sydney's joining us. Come here, Sydney. Say hi to everybody. Say hi, painters. This is my daughter, Sydney, and she's usually my painting assistant, and she wants to know how everybody's doing. So if you guys are doing good, tell Sydney hi and let her know that it's going okay.
Mommy.
Oh, cool. Say hi, everybody. Okay, Sydney's watching cartoons while we do our paint class. Okay, I'm going to finish my paint class. All right, everybody, going back to the painting. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to fill in my painting with the blue paint. So I want to leave white areas because I'm going to eventually put, oh, thanks, Nicole. She loves being the star of the show. Jack was trying to do his own live show, and Sydney just wanted to be in there and be the star. She's going to be a star when she grows up. Okay. So all of these lines do not have to be exactly the same size, but look, see, small lines gradually getting bigger and bigger. So along the bottom, these are really giant. And then as you go up the wave, you want to make sure, so see how this curves? You want to make sure that the lines follow the curve of the shape here, okay, and go around. All right. And don't worry about if they're not all exactly where you want them placed now, because again, like I said, we're going to add layers of color and stuff over the top, okay? And don't worry about it being super, super blended right now either. We actually want to create some texture in this painting and not have the colors too blended together so that we're able to, you know, create that depth. So I'm going to take this almost all the way to the top because remember, this area up here later is going to be white, so we don't want too much of that up there to be covered with blue paint, okay? So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like right now. How we doing? So if your paint looks like this, let me see if I can get up close, where you can see the grid of the canvas like that, use a little bit more pressure or a little bit more paint. So you'll notice that the more I run my brush over the paint or push against it, the more blended it becomes. We want to get rid of that texture on the canvas like that, okay? And also we want to remember that the bottom of the wave is going to be the darkest point. So, you know, like along the bottom than anywhere else because there's more shadow. Our light is up at the top, and down here there's a little bit more shadow. Have we had too many glitches while this has been going on? Hopefully it's been going okay. Okay. It's so weird not hear all the people giggling and moaning and groaning and going, oh, my painting. I'm just going to assume that you're all in your house going, yes, this is amazing. I love this painting. I'm so happy that I did this. Kind of takes some of the pressure off, I think, when you're in your home and painting rather than painting in a group sometimes. But I do have to remind painters quite often that painting is supposed to be relaxing. Okay. So this is the second part that I'm going to have you guys do. So after this is all filled in with blue and we have, you know, just a little bit of white left in there, I'm going to have you guys clean off your brush. Okay. And I want you to touch this little part in here just to see if any of this is still wet. And if it is still wet, that means that paint is going to mix together with each other, okay? So what we want is we want that to be dry so that we can then start to layer some other colors in here. So here's your formula, okay? So we have our base of blue for the water, but here's the thing, right? Water doesn't actually have a color, it's clear, but it gives the illusion of different colors by the light that reflects through it. And so Deb says, second Angry Orchard on the way. Right on, Deb. So the color that's going to reflect through our water is going to be the colors from our sunset. So what we want to do is we want to gradually start to fill in all of these little areas of color down here, but we're going to do it in this order. So if it goes yellow, orange, pink, purple, blue up here, and this is a reflection, we want to do that in reverse. So we'd want to add little bits of yellow, little bits of orange, little bits of pink, purple, until we get to this part. And then when we get to this part of the wave, we're going to do the same thing. You're going to do little bits of yellow, little bits of pink, little bits of purple, orange, you know, etc. And then you're going to work from the edge out. Does that make sense to everybody? So you want to make sure that, again, your brush is clean. And then I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to take a little tiny bit of yellow, okay? And I'm going to go into those little spots above. And so guess what? If we go in and it overlaps some of the blue and turns some of the blue green, is that okay? It absolutely is, because what color does water look like in a lot of Northwest paintings? Looks green, guys. So look, I can start to put yellow in here. Okay, and fill in those areas a little bit, and you can bring it down as far as you want. And like I said, if it overlaps on the blue, that's okay, because you can go back in when it's dry and you can add more blue over the top. Okay, this painting is all about layers, okay? You can also use a little bit of white. So I can take white on my brush and I can then, you know, go in between and then add little bits of white in here. And then if you accidentally bump on your mountains, it's all good, because you just wait for it to dry and then you can paint blue over that, okay? All right, so see, if it's too crazy, then go back to the blue and you can add blue over the top to break it up. Okay. All right, so what color's next? So if we have blue all here, this is yellow. That means the next color, we're going to add a little bit of orange. Okay. And remember, we want the blue to be dry, because what happens when we mix orange in with blue? It turns brown, folks. So if you don't want to have brown in there, you don't want to have wet blue paint, okay? So by the time you're done with this part, there shouldn't be any white canvas left. There can be little white crests of paint in there. So like if you wanted to add white on top, okay, you can add that. Or if you need to go back to the blue, again, wait till the orange is dry, but then you can come back in and you can add little bits of blue. Okay, so what color is next? Anybody remember? Pink. Okay, so we're going in reverse. So this part has yellow, this part has orange, this part has a little bit of pink in those little areas in between the blue. Okay, you can even add it in a few areas up above if you want. Okay, and then purple. Oops, sorry, I'm getting shaky, guys. Here we go. And then by the time you get to blue again, we should be at the bottom here. Okay, so again, you can always come back in and add little layers and add white or blue over the top to really, like, you know, even it out. So if you're using a lot of paint, that's going to be an issue. It's going to be hard to get everything the way that you want it. So you want to make sure that you're using just little bits of paint, because like I said, you can always go back and build up those layers. Okay, so see, I can always go back in and I can add more blue. Okay, or if I want to add some of that, if I have light blue, I gave some of you guys like a turquoisey color, you can go back in and add little bits of that. Okay, okay. Everyone's like, I don't know about this. Hopefully it's going good over there on your side. Okay. So the other thing we want to be aware of, guys, is we want to be aware of the contrast of light and dark. So for instance, if our mountains are dark, we want the color that's contrasting on the sky to be light in order for it to show up. And then we also want to make sure that the area where land and water are separate is a different lighter color, so there's contrast that way. Okay, so now we go to paint the big part of the wave. Okay, so when we go to paint the big part of the wave, remember, we're going to start over, but we get to use bigger brush strokes. So we're going to dip into yellow, because yellow is our first color here, and we're going to go into these little cracks in the front. Okay, and we can start to fill in some of that stuff in the middle. We don't have to go all the way down. We can definitely just do it in the middle. Okay, and if it blends with some of the blue, that's okay. You can bring it up here. Okay, so we have yellow from our sky. This is what's reflecting onto the water. And then the next color would be orange. See? So if you forget what order, just look back at your sky. Okay? And remember, this blue has to be dry, because if it's not dry, you're going to start to get crazy brown colors. And then if you do start to get crazy brown colors, just let your paint dry, clean off your brush, and then, you know, drink more of your Angry Orchard. And again, if the paint accidentally overlaps the blue, that's okay, because you can always go back in when it's dry and add a little bit more blue. Okay. Okay, so there's orange. Okay, what color's next? Pink. So in this part, I like to be a little bit more generous with the amount of paint that I'm adding, because it'll go in there nice and vibrant, and then you don't want to overwork the paint. You just want to kind of use the skinny edge of your brush and just very gently kind of put it in there in the places that you want. Okay, and remember, that doesn't have to be like a perfectly even pattern. We're just giving the general idea of where stuff is at, and we're filling things in. Okay, and then after pink, then you're going to use purple, or you can use the blue-green color I gave you. So we started with our warm colors. Now we're working to our cool colors, because we want our wave to look darker. Okay, so I can also, some of you guys had like a teal bluish color. That's a great one to put like down in the bottom. Okay, and now you can start to fill in areas. So if you wanted to blend some of the colors more, you can add white, you can go back in and add more blue, but I'm just using, instead of the wide part of the brush, I'm using the skinny side of the brush. So I'm turning my brush, not like, I'm not using the wide part like that, I'm using the wide part, like, or the skinny part like this, okay? So again, if you're not happy with your brush strokes immediately, you can smooth it out, you can let it dry, and you can go back in and you can work with the paint, okay? The idea here, though, is not to overwork it. The colors don't all need to be exactly perfectly blended together. So you'll notice I'm leaving the top area alone, okay? So it's starting to come together. So see, I can start to add, I can put white in here if I want, okay? And I don't need perfect even splotches. I'm just basically wiping my brush, but I'm following the curve of the wave. Try and let your brain relax instead of overthinking, and just intuitively do what feels good. You know, go towards the colors that draw your eye and make you feel happy. You know, like if you feel like there's too much blue, add different colors in there. Just play and have fun with the experience, okay? So the benefit of these live videos are I am going to keep it up for a little bit. So that means that if, you know, I was going too fast, or you wanted to try it again with somebody else, or try it again, you know, just try it again, then you can stop, you can rewind, you can replay, you know, you can watch it multiple times and you can share it with people. So see, I'm just breaking up some of those areas. So if there was an area that I didn't really like very much, like I didn't think the colors matched very well, I can go back over with a second color, like blue or a prettier color, but you do it when the paint is more dry. Oh, I froze for a second. You guys catching up? Anyway, so here I'm just going to show you guys what I have going on here. How's everybody doing? So when I get most of the color back in here, I can, like I said, again, you can go back in, you can add little bits, you can add little bits of white. You just don't need all of the lines to be perfectly matched up here, okay? Doing okay, Deb? How's that Angry Orchard? Right on, Carrie. Thanks for joining me. All right, so I am going to call it on this part of the wave. You guys may still want to do a lot more blending, but I am just going to move on to the last step. Okay, so I'm going to clean off my brush when I get to this part. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to my white paint. Okay, and I'm going to use a good amount of white paint for this part. Okay, so I want to make sure that this is dry up here. If it's not dry and I get a little bit of blue, that's okay. But I'm going to use the use white paint on my big brush, and I'm going to use that hatching brush stroke like this. So that wiping brush stroke to create my big splash. So I can just paint over any of my pencil marks. Okay. So I'm creating it nice and bright up here. Like I said, if some blue mixes in there, that's okay. If you want to make it more fluffy, you can use circular brush strokes. Okay, so where you go around like this. I'm using a hatching brush stroke because I want to create more texture. Okay, and then you can bring this down further if you think it needs to go down further. Okay. So that's all white, but if you want to add a little bit of dimension, you can add some of the dark blue or some of the, you know, the light blue by using hatching brush stroke, just like in the middle a little bit, just to create a little shadow. Doesn't all need to be the same color. So the idea behind having multiple colors is that you're creating the illusion of light and shadow. My t-shirt tech noises are great. I don't know what that is. So there's my big splash there. And then if you want to add like a second splash, like maybe the wave is rising up, you can kind of use that brush stroke down here in the bottom edge to kind of break up some of this and create a little bit of a splash down at the bottom or along the bottom edge down here. I don't know, but that's what I've got going on. What do you guys have going on? Yay. Okay, I'm going to flip it around now. All right, guys, you got to look at my mug again. So that's what I have for my painting, but I know some of you guys are probably still working. So if you have questions and you need some guidance on things to adjust with your painting, I am open for questions. If you have time to put down the paintbrush and and stop and ask questions. If you're too intently into your painting, then that's okay too. I'm just happy to be able to connect with all of you guys. I hope that you were able to follow the directions easily. And like I said, if you have any suggestions for how I could make things go more smoothly, I'm more than happy to make those improvements. Like I said, this is a new thing for me. We're all kind of having to make adjustments, and I had to kind of think quickly about how I was going to approach continuing to do what I do. Thanks, Ronnie. I really appreciate that. And I bet you are also going to be an awesome teacher. So Veronica Purdy lives in Tri-Cities where I lived before, and she also has a paint and sip business. And I'm really excited to see the things that you're going to do, girl. I know you're going to rock it because you are so talented and so creative. And, we need creative people in these times, people, because we need out-of-the-box thinking for how we're going to make stuff happen as a community. We can't see each other in person, but we still have the internet to be able to connect with each other. And, I just want to be able to do some stuff to be able to brighten your day. So does anybody have any questions? Are we doing okay? What time is it now? So if you had fun and you're still wanting to do something entertaining with your evening while you settle down, Jack Parker is going to be live streaming. I can't remember if he's doing it from his personal page or from his music page. So you can either find him under Jack Parker or Jack Parker Music. And he's going to be live streaming from the Tracyton Public House. Such good music, family friendly. Really nice experience. I can't wait to sit down and watch it with my daughter. He's one of her favorite performers. And so we're going to be singing along in our living room because, what we need right now is a big smile. Okay. We need to keep lifting each other up and keep motivating each other to keep going and inspiring each other to show that, we are together as a community and we have hope. And, if you had fun and want to do this again, Nicole, I will totally show you the painting again. I'm going to flip this around one more time. Okay, so this is what I painted tonight, and here was my original painting. So there's that. Okay, so, what I try and encourage is, we're painting kind of the same theme and we're using the same color palettes, but I want everybody to have an individual piece, something that is unique to themselves. And so, different colors call for different people, different textures, appeal to different people. I just want to give you guys a technique that you're able to use again and again. Nicole, I'm so glad that you joined us, and I can't wait to see what you painted. I bet it's beautiful. But yeah, that's the original paint, or that's the finished painting that I have right there. Hopefully you guys are able to apply this. I know some of you guys are rock painters. Maybe you can do a little tiny mini version and then spread that joy around the community. I'd really like to see some of that. I'd appreciate any ideas that you guys have for things that you'd like to paint. In the meantime, I do have more paintings scheduled. So if you go to Rimbert Illustrations page and you look under events, there is a schedule of all the classes I was going to do out in public, but I'm going to be streaming those as free online classes for people that want a little art lesson. And if you don't have supplies but need them, I have some. So you can purchase paint kits from me at a minimal cost, anywhere from like 15 to 20 bucks for a paint kit. And then also, even though this is free, I am accepting donations, during this time. So if you guys felt that what I did brought value to you, I did post a PayPal link where you can make a contribution to me. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep creating and holding my head up and working in my garden. And I hope you guys are all doing the same. So stay healthy. Love you guys, and stay tuned for the next live video, okay? Please post pictures of your paintings either in the comments or on my page so I can share them. I can't wait to see what you all have done. And share out the event. Thanks a lot, guys. Good night.